Nothing better than to start in the middle of a match. We got Duress, and they took out Counterspell. Counterspell that we're not that excited about until, I don't know, like Corrupted. So, game on. Expecting a cut down to exist. We're looking at a mono black situation, and so losing Bilious Skull Dweller is probably a bit better than anything else that we could lose at this point. Experimental Augury would work nice if they allow us to get the hit in, but I would highly doubt it. This is going to be as delete everything that's on the board and control you like crazy. So draws that we're looking for on a deck like this are going to be things like Vraska's Fall to kind of get that poison on the card back. It's kind of cool. So, Duress is frustrating, but you have to remember they lost a card too, right? So what we can do is get that poison counter. They spent a card to get rid of a card. Yeah, they got rid of control-y cards, which tells me that that's where their mentality is I'm going to control. And that's not really that important to us, right? Like, we're not into the, oh my god, how am I going to afford the mana situation here. Virus Beetle's just not that exciting, not that scary. Venture Corpse Puppet coming out would be better. I'm a little worried about it. I think it's going to end up getting killed, but that just gives us an opportunity to use the spell color. So we'll say no on the attacks. We'll see if Virus Beetle wants to sacrifice himself to Venture. If they choose to get rid of Virus Beetle, I call it Virus Beetle. Virus Beetle's up there. If they choose to get rid of the Skull Dweller. Oh, good. I think there's a theme going on here. Nice. Right? And the theme is, I'm going to keep costing myself 1 mana, 1 card, but I'm going to take all your cards away. That's fine. No attacks. I would trade Skull Dweller to Skull Dweller, and I would lose Virus Beetle. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'd still trade Skull Dweller to Skull Dweller. I don't mind the damage. It's the Toxic, I think, that's scarier. Like, that's the same as getting 1 Toxic, right? It's fine. I'm almost 100% guaranteeing that this is a removal spell up here. And so if I let the mana reset, I get nothing out of it. If I don't let the mana reset, here I am. So, let's see the removal spell. No bucks. Next. Attack. You've got a removal spell. Just use it. Told you. That's all he has. So let's see if a bigger threat hits the deck. It does not, which means we have another removal spell. So whatever we decide to use our removal spell on, we'd want it to be something bigger or important. The only reason why I would consider using this here is it just keeps the Toxic Trinket going and it halves his ability to do damage. I'd be shocked if he has a protection spell at this point. And holding cards in our hand is just super dangerous, right? It does help that he's not taking another card from us, but I would expect another Virus Beetle, a Duress, Steel and Oil, and like that's kind of the theme of his deck here, right? So we just say pass. It doesn't make sense to spend the mana to really remove the Virus Beetle. But it does if it gives him poison counter, and it makes our like stuff stronger. So, yeah, we're using Drowning Echoers to do things that no one uses Drowning Echoers to do, but can kind of get you to Corrupted. It's the equivalent of 6 damage, so we're 1 damage behind at this point, and it's perfect time for us to pull somebody out Um, of these guys, the Venser Puppet's good for damage, but it's not as good for um, delivering the kind of toxic that we're looking for. And the reason why I like the Voidwing hybrid is that I can use it, and if I proliferate, I can get it back. And it's just kind of better all around. So we just get rid of this. I think he's being cheeky with the hello. Well, we'll see. We would not want to bounce the Virus Beetle. It's just too cheap. It comes back, hits the deck, and it is painful on the ETB, right? Fine with him doing 1 damage to our doing 1 toxic damage. I feel like we do much better. We'll just discard a card, which is fine. We'll probably discard our next card too. And unless it's got proliferate, right? We could cut this down. I think we hold it. Actually, no, because it's gonna come back. So we use it. Otherwise, we lose the card. Instead, I'd rather probably lose the Hybring, which gets us the advantage now. We're up to the equivalent of 8 damage. So we're doing all right. If we get a proliferate card out here, I think this is done doing its thing, but let's just get those poison counters up there as fast as we can. Right. Not that scary. X is the number of creatures in the defending player's graveyard. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, maybe 5. That's pretty scary. Yeah. Flooding. Right. He's going to do 5 damage to us, though. We're on a clock at this point. And I think that the only way we slow that clock down is with a hard removal spell. Yeah, we know. We are well aware. Okay, Vraska's Fall, it does something. Unfortunately, it doesn't do the thing we're trying to accomplish. It would have been nicer if we could have gotten rid of the Animus like this. I think we're dead. I don't know. It's going to get close. I think we'll end up dying with like 6 or 7, and it really comes down to the fact that he just removed all of our cards, right? Like, you get into a situation like this where they remove everything that you've got, and there's nothing you can do. Maybe we can draw 2 more cards. We could Vraska Fall the Animus, which is good. Helps. We'll keep this as a discard option. That way we can keep our Augury back. So we've got Toxic 8. Come on. Each opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard a card. We're just going to discard the card. We don't have the creature, right? Kind of cool here. We have Bring the Ending, which is a counter spell, which we get to hold up, and the controller has to pay 2 to make that happen. So I like it. Proliferate. We get the blocker. Yeah. We get the blocker. We submit that. We get that guy back. We'll put him out now. We'll just say next. Hold on. I'm going to have to discard something on the next turn. Would I rather... Yeah, I'd rather keep the Toxic going. Right? And then discard Bring the Ending up. Or eventually. We could do that. Probably just get rid of that. That's fine. Anoint with Affliction to take care of the long range Ignite when it flips. Is there a reason why? I have no problems with the trade. Virus Beetle? We need to proliferate. Or, that'll work. Nope. Ideally, the Billy of Skull Dweller doesn't come in, and we get a proliferate removal spell on our next draw, allowing us to create a secondary blocker, as well as move him up to 9. At that point, we'll be in a much better position to win the game. So that's what we're hoping. A Biting Palm Ninja. I can take this hit. Right? Yeah. I think I'd rather have the creature. Got a little bit spicy at the end. It's okay. If you're wondering what the heck is going on, I just needed to complete a quest in order to finish up on my main account. And so I just figured I'd start the stream while I was doing it before I flipped over to it. We did get a pack, and we can pop a pack if you'd like. Take a look and see. We did get a wild card. We own 4 copies of everything. Actually, all of one. But we don't own all the copies of the Venser Corpse Puppet. And maybe the most underwhelming of the, low-level black cards that I think exist out there, especially at rare. It does not feel like a rare. I feel like the Voidwing Hybrid feels more like a rare. So I'm going to do a be back soon so that I can swap accounts without you guys writing down my passwords. All of you. There's nobody watching, but all of them. And we're back. So, name of the game was Climb the Ranked Ladder. Kind of cool. They opened up an Explorer. That's for way later down the line, right? We're going to do the Ranked Ladder again with our Ranked Red and see how it does. I felt pretty good about what we got out of it for the first, 2 or 3 games that we played on the Ranked Ladder. I can't remember losing. I feel like we won both of them. We're in Bronze. I would expect this to go pretty quick. We're at Bronze 2 already. So we're hoping to get to something like maybe 5 games. We could make it out of Bronze. That would be ideal. I think let's call it 7 games. So the over-under is, can we get 7 games before we get out? This is cool. It's not our typical mono red start. There's no reason to sit around now. We can do turn 2. Kamano faces Kakazan and turning Reservoir. Turn 3, Urabast Forge. Turn 4. We've got the mana. I'm not that excited about that, which kind of sucks. This is pretty impressive. Just do a little do-nothing guy over here on the side. Let him get his 2 damage up and running. Ledger Shredder can be really scary against us, except we happen to have our 3 mana drops over here. So we're not going to be doing any more double spelling. And I do think that the Turning Reservoir allows the Forge to get the boost up to like 4 damage, making it very, very difficult for them to block a lot quicker. We're all Ledger Shredder all day. What I'm noticing though is we're missing land. but don't. We're not missing lands. They are missing lands, right? So, turn 3 Forge. Everybody's worst nightmare. We'll just attack in with him, and yeah. So the next turn, the Forge is going to go up quite a bit because we're going to put 1 counter, 2, 3 counters onto it, and then it's going to gain a 4th counter onto it. And so this is like Forge Nightmare. Yeah, they can swing for 3. They're going to cast another Consider, hopefully. Or maybe they'll just get their land on here. They can get a fast land. I'm expecting this to become a land. In 3. Yeah, so then they get Loken's Knife. And that will put them at swinging for 5. That puts us on a pretty fast clock, but we're going to put them on a faster clock, if you can believe that. Reason being is if we see a dual swap here, I can't believe they're handing out land, and they're not, like, they're going to try to win on 2 lands, which is just, whew, that's going to get tough. Anyway, pressure's coming, right? Yeah. I told you we'd put him on a faster clock. Oh, that can't be fun. No, that can't be fun. So, you swing for 5, and the crackback is well over 6. You've gotten a little preview of the power of the Sprinter with the Forge. Churning Reservoir just gets us that extra piece of damage in there. Don't know if it was necessarily worth it to cast it, but, you know, what are you going to do? I would almost think we're going to see a scoop. Like, almost think a scoop is coming. Because a turn 3 Forge to a turn 4 swing for 16 is really scary, right? We got a block here. But we'll just keep doing what we do, right? What did it do, nephew? Squee! I think we've already got a concede happening in front of us. So, there's something. He's got something. Maybe a bounce spell on the big guy, right? But I mean, you'd have to have 2 bounce spells, take 4, swing back. I kind of think it's over, but I could be wrong. There could be something I don't know about. We got no blockers, 4 threats, 3 mana. We need to stop. If you do it with blockers, you toast because of the trample. If you do it with removal spells, 3 removal spells, 1, 2, 3, still lets 2 anti-damage get in. I don't think he's got a way around this. I did tell you Legislators are fun, though. They are a really good card. The next hand is a hasty squee with going super wide on there too. So even if there's a way around this, oh, that's a way around it. That is a way around it. Good on him. I think we're still fine. Yeah, that's fine. Cut your life in half. One, 2, 3 more. Uh-oh. He won. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm trying to think what I could do different, and I don't think there's an answer here. I think he did win. March of the Swirling Mists. A perfect single answer for what we're dealing with. I don't know what you're doing. You just go. Yeah. Good game. There's no reason to watch this happen. Although, did he phase out? Yeah, no, he'll come back. It's over. Nothing with reach, unfortunately. Burn spell would have fixed it, right? If we would have gotten one burn spell instead of 5, 6, you know, like I think we drew 4 more lands. That's not good. I think we drew 1 extra card that wasn't land. And a deck that has 18 lands in it, highly improbable. And it's definitely the reason why we lost. I mean, we had unspent land. We just needed to remove one of those threats to go. So, bad draw, unlucky, you know, powerful hand in the beginning, and then just, no, look, here's all of our removal spell, none of the early interaction. We can't do that either, unfortunately. At least now we're on the board early, so that's good. Churning Reservoir has the least amount of value in what we see here. 2 or more. Sure. Yeah, we'll wait. If he's going to play the toxic game, preventing the toxic from happening early is value than having one mana creature on the board. We could go to face, but we're just going to say end. We're really looking for something that we can cast that hits the deck. Resolve. Just burn. Go away. That takes away the toxic on any other rats that hit the deck. So not a lot of reason for us to worry about that. Alright, alright, alright. We can do this, and we can do this. Maybe get... Okay. That gives us our 4th. We can put our squee up. We can go next. All attack. Next. Yeah, it's just too tasty not to... Too tasty not to. We've got the cards in the graveyard now to bring the squee back, and we've got the mana to do it as well. So I feel like, you know, yeah, we had to deal out with a Venomous Brutalizer with a 2-for-1 as far as cards are concerned, but we don't have to worry about the drawback. Are we sure this guy's in bronze? Like, what? What the heck? Okay, so we can deal 3 or 4 damage to the Vraska, and I think that that's the right answer. So we are going to do this. We are going to get rid of all 4 of these. We are going to attack. We're going to say all attack Vraska like that. And we'll also put that on there, and then we'll also put that on there. So now we can it's no longer a threat. And Squeak is back on the deck. Best card ever. All good, all good, all good. We've got plenty of mana to do the antagonize piece on there, so we will throw this out. Start looking like we are mono red real. Click next. Okay. One antagonize here. One antagonize here. 5. Proliferate. Nothing. I mean, the point of this deck is clearly to get us out of here. I don't know if an all-in attack with my squee is smart, but I have no problems losing one of those guys, right? We will be taking 2 toxic unless we block. And I think... Do you have trample? You do not. I don't think I block this. We just have to block the paladin. Okay. Here we go. I guess this is not possible? Activate only if an oil counter was removed from a permanent. Gotcha. Okay, so we all attack and then we leave one back, right? We're gonna lose Squee, most likely, but fine. We'll have other attacks, like we'll have other ways to put some damage down on there. And as long as we can block the Paladin predation, I think we're doing a little bit more to them than they're doing to us. If we can lose the Squee, we can use the Churning Reservoir to create the extra blocker character. And so, you know, the go wide strat still exists because of the reservoir. Okay. Not sure that was the right move. Ooh. Oh, no. Toast. That's it. GG's. Good game. I just don't play against that card, the Paladin of Predation. Like, I just didn't recognize the need to get rid of that. And unfortunately, it kind of didn't matter if I attacked or not. I didn't have anything with power level greater than 2. So, it's a good mono-red beater, and it's a good mono-red finisher. I'm not sure what the solution would have been without getting the Kamano and maybe casting a card that can catch the Kamano's +1. Okay. Alright, we move on. Just got to call that good beat, though. That was a really excellently well-built hand. We have some early interaction, we've got some mid-game interaction, and we're hoping for one more land. And so far, hoping for land has not been the problem. We've been like, getting 6 and 7 lands. I've been drawing more lands. It feels like the decks that I have 27 or 28 lands versus cards here. It's kind of crazy. Mono white would expect a Talia if it exists. Sometimes it doesn't. We push that out there so that our Fuseling can do something more, and if he ends up casting something now, we will have a Voltage Surge ready to go. Oh no. You only have one land, Raiden. Okay. Throw this out there. I think we're fine. Go next. Quick all attack. Like I said, I think we are fine. We don't have the mana. Like, so both of us are playing a kind of a funky mana lock here. We have a total of 8 damage that we can do with our Voltage Surges because our Fuseling is in. And we have an Urbask Forge that we could cast, or since we have a free look, I think we just take the free look, right? Put the haste on the character. Forges are great, but not the game plan necessary when the board just doesn't exist. And he's getting, I don't know. Priest. Yeah. Just didn't go his way. The land, like he kept a 1-land hand. That's not good. You don't want to keep a 1-land hand. A 1-land hand is when, like, you look at all 7 at the beginning and there's just 1 land in it. I don't know if that needed a lot of explanation, but it feels good to have that out there in the world All right, so we're 500. I really thought that we had the Legislature guy beat. I didn't expect the March of the Swirling Mists in bronze. That is a pretty powerful card that's not in any of the current sets. I don't even know if I've seen it before. Um, yeah, that's my bad. The lights went out, but I unplugged the monitor because it was running into some issues with the power cord. I got a new power cord coming. Like I said, I didn't expect the very, very high tier, X whatever card to be in that deck. It just, to me, didn't seem like it would fit. To them, it did, and they found the one use case that I've ever seen where I got to use like perfectly. We've got enough early interaction that we keep. And early interaction, they just mean that we're going to get on the board, right? The reason why the last guy got run over was because he didn't have anything on the board, and so I was able to put creatures out there that did more running over. Double 6B. Not sure what that stands for, but I'm just gonna. Out you go. Excellent. We want to do something mean? Bye. Yeah, sorry, guy. Get back. I'm waiting for him to spend the 2 mana to cast something right now, and then on my turn, I'll Voltage Surge out the Venerated Rockets, right? And the reason why that works so well is because he just doesn't have the counter for it. It is a very fast, unfortunate situation, but he left us with nothing. Yeah. He left himself with nothing to protect, and that means that the Gleeful Ivy just doesn't have the effect he's hoping for. Let's put it that way. Kamanos faces Kakazan, who means that the Priestly goes out with juice. We go all attack, and what you got now? Voltage Surging the Rot Priest to get 2 damage to take out both of his highly sought after creatures is got to be one of the best ways to handle the Rot Priest. It's like, oh, you have this like super strong guy over here. That's fine. Yeah. You're gonna come down with 2. Put an oil counter on it, which is great. Go next. Just attack for 1. I could do the Stolen Vitality right now and give it the ability to trample or first strike or whatever the case is, but I feel like I would be much happier if I could put him in a situation where he's forced to block and then I use the Stolen Vitality. If I use it on their turn as a blocker, it's a little different story, but it can be much more of an offensive threat and can allow a lot more to happen if I go this way. Yeah, this guy's deck has a very big glass jaw to it. Right, so we can go next, and just so we do the fast math, we're hitting for 5. This would make an additional 3 to go to 8, and then 8 plus 3 is 11. So we're going to go all attack. We're going to do Stolen Vitality. We'll go next to damage. Face to lethal. That works. Moving on up. I think we need 3 wins in a row to get the 6 pips necessary to get us out of bronze, and that's pretty good. Claim prize. Moving on. I wanted a ranked. I really liked that game. That was good. Rot Priest in the beginning of the matches for me was so difficult. And the reason why I think Mono Red exists right now is the fact that Toxic is just way too fast, right? Everything is 1 mana, 2 mana for Toxic. you need to put Toxic on creatures, but you need the creatures to be in the 2/3 zone in order to allow there to be interaction and play, not to be so much about your hand at the start. This is a 1 mana hand that I decided to keep. Oops, good bibble. Mono red has a little bit of opportunity to accomplish this, but if we want to get our Forge out at any time, we're going to need some land. We're going to need it soon. We'd be giving up a +1 on a creature if we chose to not there. And I don't know why I would want a Reservoir down right now. So. If he puts a creature that's got the ability to withstand a hit here, swinging for 4, we'll hit for 2, and hopefully make a trade with a 2 mana creature that he throws down right now. I would desperately like that extra mana. If I got it, a snow deck. And I didn't get it, unfortunately. Right. So, without the ability to get it, I think what we're going to do is just Voltage Surge out this guy. Submit 0. Go to all attack. And using our 1 mana as best as we know how. We never should have kept a 1 mana hand. That's all I'm going to say about that. Reckless Impulse gives us a chance to get our 3rd mana guarantee on the draw. He can't block anything, so we're swinging for 4. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted. Okay, that's 1 win. We need 2 more wins in a row without taking a loss to get out of bronze. All right. 2 losses and 3 wins or 4 wins. I mean, Mono Red is a 66% winner, and that will get you to climb through the lower levels of ranked really, really fast. Again, a 1 mana hand. But again, we've got 2 things to do with 1 mana. I dig this a little bit more. So I organize up my land so that 2 or fewer won't come in tapped, non-tapped lands, and then we'll be able to do more. So we're just going to let them know we're here. We're going to really hope for a creature. 1 mana creature would be ideal. Didn't get it, which means the +1's going to go away. It's just too sad, right? That's okay. I'm not going to panic about it. We should be getting a swing for 5 on the next turn because we've got the mana for Squee, and we can put it down. The only thing that I think would get in the way is if something that really threatens Squee on attack hits the deck, in which case I could Voltage Surge it, and then just swing for 2 on there, and then do the big swing later. Resolve. Yeah, we just do the Voltage Surge now, right? Submit 0, get rid of that. That is just mana efficiency across the board. We go here, we go here. We go all attack. Our beefy Squee, put some pressure on him. We're swinging 6 at a time, 7 on the next turn, so we're on a 2-turn clock at this point. And there's 1 more removal spell in our hand. You're not an artifact. Alright, though. So, does this go face? Creature Planeswalker? It does not, right? The theory would be we swing wide, and it's going to be really difficult for them to come up with some kind of solution to this. But we can use the Voltage Surge, sacrifice the artifact, and hit for 4 with 1 single mana, and we still have 3 up. So it's a good game, unless a board swipe. I mean, white is full of board wipes. This is one of them, but it's in a go wide strat. And this guy was getting set up for a nice long game. They just didn't come. Good game. Just a pretty good mono red deck overall. 2 down, 1 to go. Feel like we're getting the hang of the deck too. Okay, probably the strongest card in mono red. And I was thinking of using wild cards to get it, and I'm really glad I didn't at this point right now. We could do one less forge because we're trying to win long before the forge comes in and bring in one of these guys. The reason why the Swift Spear is so good is the haste and the prowess, and specifically the prowess, which just gives you a +1/+1 for every spell that you throw out. It's just a non-creature, right? Like non-creature spell. So what do we got in the non-creature category? We got 2. We've got 3 more for 5. We've got 4 more for 9. We've got 4 more for 13, and that's in the 1 mana column. If we look over here, we've got a really nice pump spell, and we've got a decent pump spell over here, so a total of 3 more, as well as non-creature spells for the next 6 right here. 1 removal creature that comes up. I mean, we've seen it get worked out once or twice. And then everything's a creature with the exception of this. So many of our non-creatures, like our spells are non-creature spells, that it's not uncommon for this thing to be swinging at like 3 or 4 damage because you were able to cast 2 or 3 spells right in a single thing. Would love to have more of those just to kind of stay in the pump and play kind of category. There's a really neat deck where you use all the reckless impulses and a lot of 1 mana non-creature spells with the priest. And the idea is you just get more cards, pump them up with 1 mana at a time. Get more cards, pump them up with 1 mana at a time. And you just keep going back and forth between the two. Perfect. 3 mana. Something to do on turn 1, something to do on turn 2. Something to do on turn 3 if they put out something scary. Go the ghost. Yeah. Okay. Turn 1. Turn 2. Well, a little bit of interaction. Where after Kamano comes down, we can use that to clear the board a little bit. If we don't see a Ledger Shredder, we're going to throw both of these out here. If we do, which we're not, but if we do, it could be a blue card. We'll throw them both out. Having this out on the deck helps us in a couple of different ways. Hello! But not enough ways. Would rather put the +1 on the Swift Spear. We could have done the Churning Reservoir there. It is a nice non-creature spell for us to toss, and if we are still looking at an open board on the next turn, I will go face, spell. I still think I'm going to do that. Okay. Not an artifact. If it was, we would go here and we would just sacrifice the Viashino. We could pump the Viashino to a 3/1 and do a trade-off, but if he's smart, I think he's just going to take out the Swift Spear, right? So what we're going to do is this as a and a pump for our boy at the same time. We're going to do this as a pump for our boy at the same time, and then we're going to all attack. You already get a sense of why I got so excited when I saw a Monastery Swift Spear. That dude is nuts. He'll swing for 3 if we lightning strike, so that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got lethal if we can get through the next one, but we need nothing on the board. It's not going to happen. He's going to remove that thing. Sure. Okay. Attack for 3, hit for 3 more, puts him way down there. Voltage Surge has got the 4 damage that can go to a creature as a removal spell, allowing us to attack in for final at the end. I kind of like that. Lightning Strike hits for 3, but this guy could just go up. Just pump this guy up and say, I'll attack. It's a good way to use the cards better. It's 1 less damage. So he's not down to 3, he's down to 4. But we can do Lightning Strike. Take him down 1, make anything that he does lethal. So, we did it. We wanted to win 3 in a row in order to rank up. We ranked up to silver. Pretty quick. A couple losses in the very beginning, but pretty quick. We're going to play until we get the next 5 wins, and then we're going to call it. I think that that's going to be a little bit faster than I expected. I think that this deck is just cruising. Stream's been on for 45 minutes at this point right now, so maybe halfway through. Depends on where we're at. We don't have to go all for the next 5. I'll tell you what, we're just going to play the next 5, okay? That's what we're going to do. Well, again. I hate to lose another card. Boy, we need to draw a land. Like, perfect. I think this is a loss. I'd rather free for flesh mines and use them next turn. It's a much more longer lasting use, more value out of the card. You could bounce it. Yeah. I still think we're going to lose. We just don't have the mana to deal with anything. We're doing what we can with 1 mana. But keeping a 1 mana hand is a super high risk. There are 20 lands, by the way, in this. So 1 out of 3 chance of getting land. It's going to be enough, I think, to win. Yeah. Yeah. That's my favorite way to use the aspirin. Okay. There's just nothing we can do, so at this point I think we just concede. It's just a waste of time. He's got us at 4. The next turn he's going to put us at 7 or 8. If we don't have a way to get him down, like, we're done. And with 1 mana, never keep a 1 mana hand. Even if it means you're going down to 5 cards. You got a better shot, right? You don't draw that mana, you're toast. And that's what happened to us. Even on mono red, even with 1 mana spells, we were able to cast 3 spells, use everything correct. We still hit a wall. And we're not coming back from double Rot Priest, right? Much better hand, right? Love the interaction. Love this, maybe even more. 2 or fewer lands allows us to play this. And we have a bit of a mirror match going on. This could be tough. We're not risking anything since we're at the bottom of silver, so when we take a loss, we don't fall back to bronze. So I'm not like freaking out about the whole thing. But yeah, this is as meta of a red deck as it comes, right? You get the most amount of use of each and everything. This is frustrating. So we do this. Swift Spirit gets the +1, has that, say attack. Epicure could block. No chance of that happening. Blocking is for somebody else. We don't want to lose. like there was extra mana in there. Alright, so we pop this on that guy. Take that out. Go up to the Missile Sphere. Do an attack. We'll just attack with him, on him. And that'll encourage the block. Oh yeah, it didn't encourage the block. Could have, but it didn't. We can block the Epicure just to save a little bit more damage. Okay. We have 2 lightning strikes. We take out his chick and his etching. Definitely like that. We gotta get rid of this. Super. Okay. We get rid of the Epicure, right? And then we attack with 1. I think that's it. Good game. Yeah, we just couldn't come up with the blockers necessary. Because the Kamana will come back, like, we can trade those out, but by then we can't block the other one. So, it's pretty much done. Planeswalker on turn 3. Like I said, that's about as meta of a red deck as you can get. And you can see, like, when you're facing the meta red deck, a lot of the cool interactions that we get between our cards that happen on turn 3 and turn 4, they're making happen on turn 2. And that extra turn, especially when you're on the draw, it's just enough. Like, you're just going to get run over. Unfortunately, we just couldn't stabilize, right? So, it happens. I'd rather put the +1 on the hasty guy. This is all you do now. Display against 2 decks. A Prop Beast. We don't have a removal spell. This would be the right time to get her done. Alright, put this on the hasty guy. That's fine. Drop this dude out there on the deck. We get some +1s. We can do an all attack. I don't think we're going to get a block. It's a little strange to see these 2 cards next to each other. It doesn't mean that there isn't some kind of cool synergy that I'm not aware of, but we'll find out. You want to use it on the Fierceling? You do. Interesting. Doesn't feel like toxic is the name of the game. Right? Say no. Let's go with Squee. Feel like getting wide. Threatening damage. Threatening lethal on the next turn. You can use the lightning strike on the Gala Greeters. You knew. Okay. So we lost 2 in silver, and then we won 1. It's the opposite side of the scale. We want to win 2 for every one that we lose, right? So we'll see. That's game 3 though, and right now our record isn't looking great. And we did not draw well on this at all. Everything is at the high end. So double Squee, Urabrask Forge, but just enough to keep. 1 more land opens up the door for quite a bit of stuff. Here we go. Taste it up. Viashino. I always think of maraschino cherries when I see this one. The Branch Riders Are you serious? No. We can use our lightning strike better. Just give me one land. All these squeeze will become unstoppable. They are legendary creatures. You can't keep multiple out there at the same time. So we're fine with like attacking. Dude. Go wide. Death Toucher is gonna hold us back. But my mana situation is one more mana. Just one more mana. Only because we drew the Magnetic Sprinter do I really feel like this is the right. It's possible that he makes a mistake and blocks with like a horror, but I didn't think that was likely to be the reality. We're still looking at maybe a horror with 4 and trample on the next turn, because he'll get 1 extra and we'll drop 2 more onto it, and then we'll be swinging at that point. That's exactly the move you don't want to do. So this is the go wide deck with the humans that they gave us, and we're playing against it like stock. I don't see anything here that's like, oh yeah, they added something cool to that. All attack, nothing to block. Threatening lethal on the next turn. Threatening well above and beyond lethal. You can use a removal spell in the Viashino and it won't change anything. You can even put a big body out there, and we're going to be adding 3 more. So we'd have a 7-hit Trampler. That's hard to block. Right. Alright, here you go. That means that should he block the Sprinter, we win, and that's it. Good game. Good game. Good game. Power of the Forge and the Sprinter. Better than you think. You don't see it out there. A lot of people don't look for the interaction on turn 3 and 4. In mono red, they look for the interaction on turn 2 and 3. And the thing is, this is obviously a lot more powerful, right, than when we look at like the squeeze and the go wides and the powers, the prowess and stuff. Like, we can deal a lot more damage a lot quicker in a circumstance like this, as well as, and this is the key factor, the Magmatic Sprinter comes back. So we're not losing the pieces of the puzzle in the interaction. The reason why this would be a problem would be if they're coming at us faster too, with like the mono red, and they're able to get us dead by turn 4. And so the interaction at turn 4 that we're looking for, we just don't get a chance to get to. That's what happens with the Halo Fountain. The Halo Fountain comes out, and it's really designed for a really go wide, long, engine-y kind of setup that just doesn't happen. They put a mythic on it, but the truth of the matter is, you need 5 whites in a deck that only puts a white out every other turn at best. So round 10 is where you're hoping to have the mana necessary, as well as the 15 creatures you need to just win the game. That's a weird thing. It's better to create like the creatures at 1 mana and, you know, kind of continue to go. But creating a token for 1 mana is not actually that great. It's only great when it causes a lot of triggers that allow you to do a lot more things. So here we are. Out of our 5 games, we lost the first 2 and we won the next 2. This is it. To see if ultimately we're going to have a better than a 50% win rate in silver with the deck that we've got, or do we need to look at making some adjustments to strengthening the deck a little bit. This is not the hand we want. Ugh, this could be worse. There is something that we can hit the deck on turn 2 and turn 1. So we're going to keep 6 and lose a reservoir. honestly thinking of getting rid of the reservoirs. I think they work good with these voltage surges, so I have no problems using them. But when you got 2 or 3 in your hand in the opening, you're dead. Like, you're losing a card. And if you keep it, you're losing a card because you can't cast a bunch of voltage surges and expect to win the game. Right? Shrapnel Singer hits the deck, nothing to leave, so we just decline. And we look pretty pedestrian on this start. There's not a lot of cards that we've got that we cast on turn 2 that we still haven't an opportunity to attack into just yet. So, unfortunately, this is happening this way. The Forge is coming out next, though, and I think that even if we lose our Slinger right here, which we're fine with, the Forge has got an opportunity to start putting pressure. Cool. I love that card. It's fine. We all attack because if we just attack with one, he'll cover it up. So this just allows damage to get in. Okay. Ideal draws here would be Magmatic Sprinter or maybe a Lightning Bolt. I don't really want to lose my Trinic Reservoir when there's a Forge. Alright, there are other Forges that are out there, but there's just one more Forge, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, we don't want to sit around doing nothing, right? So, let's do it. We get rid of this, get rid of that, use it to go there, click all attack. Man, are we flooded. 5 lands on turn 5. I want a card. It's a card. Next, no attacks. End turn. Want one more card, please? Lightning Strike would be awesome. Squee would be good. It's getting scary now. Viashino would be fine. That works too. We're not going to give up our Head Cleaver. We're going to bank on the fact that like we can do some kind of trick to swing for like 8 or 9 on the next turn and be threatening lethal. We'll be at 5. Ah, shoot, 6. We don't have a creature now. Ouch. That was a really good removal spell. Yeah, we feel like we are covered up. And so we're dead. We don't have the capability of surviving 2 turns, and we don't have the capability of killing him any faster than that. So we're dead. I'm trying to think like how 1 card on 6 mana, like I mean, trying to think what we would do different. I do think it's probably time for us to drop down our mana in the base here. So we'll just concede and say that the deck needs help. Going up now against better decks, better situations, you can see that the deck is, you know, it's got a lot of weaknesses still. There are still ways to get around it. So if we look at this deck, flooding is just death for us. Absolute death for us. So getting this land count down to 18 on a 1.7 average is absolutely mandatory. Other thing that we need, though, is we really need bodies down here. We need bodies in here. So let's take a look at, if we type the word haste, right? And these are bodies that bounce in and out that are really, really nice with interaction. Like if, let's say, you've got something that says every time an artifact enters the battlefield, this is a really great card to go for that. A slower card but it can become a mana sink that can help you win the game. But you have to have an attacking modified creature that you get a chance to. It's a lot of hoops to jump through on there. This is a green card on the hasty side of things. This thing makes a hasty 3/3, but can't cast it till turn 5. Burning down the house is interesting because for 5 mana, we can get wide quick, or we can deal 5 damage to everything on the board. It's pretty good. Another Forge. Would never hurt no one. We could do another Forge and another Sprinter and really lean into that. We might want to reconsider what we've got down here on the haste side of things, like the Fusling, as an example, and turn it into something more like an Axiom Engraver, something that would slow down the opponent for one more turn, because we're going to need to get to turn 4 or 5 if we're going to want to try to cast like 2 Forges, right? I don't hate that idea, though. The last option would be to craft. We could craft Monastery Swift Spears. We could replace the Exuberant Fuselings with the Swift Spears, and we could do what we could to maybe take out like these Reckless Stormseekers, as powerful as they are. The Shrapnel Slinger, we could take it out, and we could start adding in some non-creature spells down here in the low side of things. Taking the word haste out of the equation, looking at the instant and sorcery speeds that are available to us, we would be bringing in Play with Fire, which gives us a Scry, which helps us not flood when we are flooding. I kind of like the Free from Fleshes, but the Voltage Surges are not as exciting as the Play with Fires because of the Scry. The Braids are really good too for removing some of the bigger stuff. You can kind of see how we get stuck. Carries Flame deals damage to both as long as we have a modification on a creature. And Kumano Faces Kakazan throws out modifications, as does Free from Flesh, as does Churning Reservoir. So Carries Flame might be a much better card than something like the Stolen Vitality, the Shrapnel Slinger, just because we're going to start to see some pump across the board on both sides of the equation. So I like the extra burn. I don't like the Fusling and the Cacophony Scamps now that we're losing our ability to sort of pump up them and turn them into explosions that are coming up the deck. I do think that the Free from Fleshes are an important part of making the Voltage Surges work and the Carries Flame work. So I think that we're keeping the Free from Fleshes, removing the Scamps and the Fuselings, right? And by doing that, we open the door to crafting. We're going to use some of our wild cards. We don't actually have to go down and do that. We can just go up here and say, I'm going to craft 3 more Swift Spears, right? And we're getting dangerously close to meta at this point on here. Putting the Epicure guys that give you card draw and kind of keep things moving instead of the Viashinos is probably the move that we'd want to make. We did say we were thinking about getting rid of our Stormseekers and increasing the Sprinters and the Forges, just because we know that that's just way more powerful than an extra body. So let's look at the Epicure. They're 1 mana creatures. We don't have one, that's right. So we have to go to not collected. And there he is right here. The Voldarian Epicure allows you to throw a damage straight to face, have a 1/1 blocker on the reverse to slow down their attacks, gives you a, for 1 mana, blood token that allows you to clean through if you are flooded out there. And so it's really hard to compare that to something like this that just has haste and a pump on turn 5 or 6 that we're just not getting to. We're not seeing that happen. So I think that we come down on our Branch Riders and we go up on our Epicures in hopes of doing a little bit more to opponents. 3 squee are great. We're holding on to 3 squee. We're not changing that. Lightning Strikes can go to face. That's awesome. Play with Fire. helps Monastery Swiftspear out a lot, helps all these out a lot, but Reckless Impulse is a bigger part of this equation than I remembered, and Churning Reservoir is not. So I think we are turning reservoirs into Reckless Impulses as well. If we craft this, we need 6 common and 3 uncommon to finish the deck. And we have like 30, so let's craft them. And what that did for us is give us a much, much more meta version of our deck. We've got that extra fire. Yeah, we don't have the artifact to get rid of anymore, so we just go to the fire. So now what we see is no bodies in the 2-drop slot. 2 types of creatures instead of 4 types of creatures in the 1-drop slot, and spells coming out of our ears, card draw getting brought into the effect, damage to the face to go along with damage to the lightning strikes, as long as we've got some kind of modification from the Kamano or from the Free From Fleshes onto one of our creatures that gets involved in all of it. Don't forget Magmatic Sprinter can also modify creatures, and Urbask Forge is kind of our win con. If we end up getting up to here and we're still alive, we're going to utilize this to get up to here. So if we need stabilization, if we need to get going, I think we've got a much better spot. Since we took out the Viashinos, there's no reason for us to play with these lands either. And the purpose of those lands was to allow us to pump the Viashino, or maybe even drop it onto the deck with a higher kind of piece. The games just didn't get there, though. So a 1.8 average with 18 lands, and pretty clean curve. 2-1, and then we'll call it. Ranked red. We didn't use a ton of wild cards. Common and uncommon wild cards come very, very quickly. They're found in packs. I think you get like 1 out of every 5 packs. I feel like I do a little bit better than that. I feel like I see 1 out of every 3 packs, maybe 4 at most. We haven't spent any money, and we've got over 60 combined of the two. So a lot of good things that happened there. If we didn't have this combo sitting on the back end, I'd be a little nervous, but I'm okay with it. We got something to do on turn 1. We can do this to open up turn 3. Or we can just use the Free From Flesh to go along with the other Epicure and really load up on blood tokens. It's like having a hasty 1-1, by the way, with the Epicure, so you're just not overly concerned about it. Cast the Swift Spear now and pump him, right? Prowess is going to go up 1. This is going to go +2. It's going to leave the oil counters on him to have a modified creature. This is like the most I can do on turn 2. And he takes it. Alright, so turn 3 is not looking great unless we can pull a land. If we don't pull a land, though, turn 3 can be a Reckless Impulse in hopes of drawing a land on the next 2. So we're really going to look at the next 3 cards to pick up 1 land. That's pretty solid. I'll take that. If we catch the land, we toss the Forge, we attack again. We didn't catch it. That's okay. That's why we have this card. We picked up the land. We can toss it out there, which is really, really good. And we can even get a little piece of extra damage into the puzzle. Okay, so we've got the... Thank you. We've got the Carrie's Flame to remove the Organ Hoarder. The fact that our Monastery Swiftspear will get the pump, he's modified, the damage will continue to go through to face. All just puts a lot of pressure on. This is our last chance to cast this card, so we would be leaving behind some mana on the deck if we did it that way. We do this. We do this. We're going to get rid of one of these forges. There's no reason to do it, and hopefully we get a 1 mana. Nope. That's okay. That's okay. We have the whatever spell card that's out there. The Epicures, the Swift Spear, they're working together pretty nice. Kind of keeping us away from looking at the Forge, unfortunately. I think if we cast the Forge, the 4th damage comes out, and the 5th damage goes up onto Monastery Swift Spear. So all of that's great. It's a little different, because he's going to heal. If he doesn't put a card into his hand, he'll gain 4 life, and then there's no reason to sell out at that point. And it's definitely time to make the transition, right? He can't attack. So let's just crack it and get the card that we're looking for. Close. He's got a lot of mana. We're able to threaten getting rid of the Dancer on the next turn because of the Sprinter. We might as well just do the smart move here. 2 damage gets sneaks by, so half of everything that he just healed goes away. It's got to be frustrating to watch all your work. If we had that 1 extra mana instead of these 2 Magmatic Sprinters, if we hadn't have popped that and we threw the 5th mana out, we would be able to lightning strike away the Prince right now. So it's worth noting that that was ultimately a risk in hopes of getting something that was in the 1 or 2 mana category that would have allowed us to maybe handle something like the Prancer. I'm thinking of Volt Charges because of the fact that we have the modified creature out here. That's probably it, although I would have taken a Kamano. That would have been pretty nice too, and a Free from Flesh would have allowed us to use our Swift Spear to overcome what we're facing with this. So, ooh, he's going to heal. So he's lengthening out the game with these repair kinds of situations, and so that is definitely the game that he needs to play. 5 total mana, 5 total mana things to do. Let's go. Dropping you in order to get you onto that, and thinking of going next to combat, and thinking of attacking with everybody since we have the backup Sprinter anyway. It's a bit of an all-in kind of situation, and I think he would take out our Swift Spear, most likely, which is fine, because our new threat moves into the Forge, right? Swift Spear, Epicure were first 2 or 3 turns. It's the Forge that goes the rest of the way. So we just take that out so that we can get the extra damage with the Swift Spear. Trade out with that, move this over, and we've got our win con ready to go. He's going to heal for 3 more, unfortunately. But it's going to be very difficult to stop what comes next. Reason being is a creature spell is going to hit the deck, pump this thing up to 3 more than where it's at. So we're going to be swinging with 7 with Trample, right? That's 3 extra damage that's guaranteed to get by, but it also allows, well, 2 in this case, but it allows these other bodies to get by too, right? Thanks. Turned him into a 2/2. 1/2. Pretty good. Pretty good. This will be fine. Not sure what you're going to do about that. He can't ignore the 7 damage. He's going to take another after that. That's what I was trying to say. Was like the trample that comes with the Urabrask Forge is so important. It's the only reason why it works. If it doesn't have trample, it doesn't work that way. How did it go this morning? How are you feeling? Okay, I'm going to do a little end of our stream right here. And tomorrow we'll do some more rank grinding and get out of silver. Be pretty quick, pretty fun. We get a pack for each level that we get above. So if we can get above gold, I'll feel pretty good. Cool. If you look at the rewards that you get, we're currently at 1 pack and 500 gold. If we can get out of silver, we can get 2 packs and 1,000 gold. If we can get through to here, we get 3 packs, 1,000 gold, and 2 of the purity stuff. So that's where I'll see you next. Meet you